for a start, it is one. There's nothing we can do about the universal social charge. It's taken at source, you know. But this is one thing that we can say, no, I'm not paying it, you know. Now I know they're talking about like the penalties of that and what it's going to mean, but I really think that if we stand up together, like that's where we can do something. If we all say, sorry, I'm not paying, you know, or just I'm not paying, you know what? That's the only way. Like through that kind of solidarity, it's the only way that we can get anything changed, you know, or anything done. And it's worked before.
We could not afford a household tax. And there's people like me, like Deirdre, and the other organisers of this campaign that simply cannot pay. It's actually death by 1,000 cuts. When you impose everything else that they've been cutting back on and they've been implementing, it's death by 1,000 cuts. And somewhere along the line, we have to say no. The Irish government were not equipped to evaluate every home in the country and say, okay, we can tax your property now. Same with the water tax. They were not equipped in 2009, but my God, have they been getting ready for it. So this new government had to actually sign the Memorandum of Understanding before the IMF even came into the country. So the premise that they didn't know about this is ridiculous. When they came into Ireland, they said every opposition that is in the current government has to sign to agree to the Memorandum of Understanding. So every party in that place agreed to it. Do not be fooled. €100 a year for living in your own home. That's going to go up every single year. If the property tax, if the household charge was that important, if the water charges were that important, if the septic tank issue was that important, why wait until the downturn to bring it in? Why? Because they don't actually need it. They're taking it off the people that are the poorest to give to the banks. That's it. That's the only reason why this charge is being implemented. We've had the universal social charge. We have had cutbacks in our public sector. We have countless levies, pension levies, and the lot. We have a new budget that is getting that is taken away from child benefit, that's taken away proposed cuts to the disabled, although that's kind of on the back burner now because of the amount of public pressure. They've rolled back on it. The point is, if we all get together and say we're not paying, we need to work together. We need to say no. At the end of the day, when is enough cuts to make people fight back? And it has to be now. We are facing into the next 10 years of a recession. Regardless of what they say, the small growths, we are facing another 10 years under this type of austerity. And if we do not start now, God only knows what it'll be like in a couple of years. If they get away with it with no resistance, there was John Fitzgerald of the Economic and Social Research Institute, which is backing up this whole idea, was on the Matt Cooper show and said, in a year's time, I don't want it to be €100, I want it to be €1,000. So what they're trying to do is, they're trying to use scare tactics. They're saying, if you do not pay, if you do not register first of all, then we'll take you to court. First hurdle, we'll take you to court. To scare people into paying. Second hurdle then is, if you don't pay, after 3 months, we're going to start instituting fines. I think it's 10% and 13%. And not only that, we're actually going to put interest on those. Can you imagine an interest on a fine? This is how deep they are willing to go. They are willing to scrape the bottom of the barrel so that their buddies in the bank does not have to pay a red cent for the crisis that they created. The only people that can stop it are the people in this room. Your neighbours, your friends, your family. The Irish economy is worth €150 billion. And they're complaining that we're only taking in 38 billion, giving out 52. Well, if there's 150 billion in the economy, start taking it off the people that have it, instead of constantly taking it off the people that don't. If you have any interest at all, if you want to start fighting back, if you're opposed to these cuts, if you're opposed to these taxations, unfair taxations, then please get involved in the campaign. But please do sign up. Sign your name. If you can give out leaflets to people that you know, if you can come along to a stall, if you can come along to a meeting or do anything, that is worth so much to every single person involved in this campaign. We've had already, I think it's around 10 or 12 meetings throughout Cork, and we have another 15 lined up after Christmas. We are getting into every area, and any one person that is prosecuted, you will have the whole country behind you. So do not be afraid. Now is the time to start fighting back.
So if we stand together, if they turn out and they take one of us to court, then all of us that can turn up in that court, and we pack the bloody place, and we stand outside, and we make it very clear where we stand. And if they turn up with the bailiffs to enforce a fine, then we block the street. And no bailiffs. We're not having it. We've got to stop somewhere.
If they can prove that you have made a contract with them just once to pay this property tax, they have you forever. You must avoid making a contract with them. That's vital. That's one thing I can appreciate. Once you make that contract, they have you. And they feel entitled to put you in prison or fine you or both or whatever. You must avoid that contract.
The water charges are where we really know that the government is scum.
So, I mean, they're actually, this is an indiscriminate tax which it doesn't discriminate between the rich and poor. So it's another stealth tax really, another of the many taxes that they're actually bringing in. Like you might say it's only £2 a week, but like if there's about 20 more taxes with £2 a week, it adds up fairly fast. Like so.
No, they are not taxing the wealthy as they should be. They are getting the money from us through so many different avenues, from food to petrol to road tax. The list is endless.
And they come onto my land and want to meter my well that I dug and test my septic tank. Well, I'm going to find out what I can do. And if that's confused them or resist them, I don't know.
It's not stopping just at the household charge. The campaign formally is the campaign against household and water charges. That's the name of this campaign. Now there is a nationwide meeting this Saturday to discuss the issues of the septic tanks, and that issue is going to be brought under it as well. So it is not just a one-trick pony. The thing with this charge is, this is the one that you can say no. Beyond anything else, this is the one thing that you can say no. That you don't have to go to your post office and register. You don't have to go to the post office and pay week after week after week. Point is, stand up for yourself, stand up for your community, stand up for the ordinary people that are being devastated with these cuts. The only way is to start getting active. If this is the first step into getting active, please do take it, because we need you. If one person goes home today unconvinced and then pays the charges, it leaves the rest of us a lot weaker. But after Christmas, we are going to have a fight in our hands, and we're not going to back down.
I'm not paying.
You're not paying.